Hey there, friend. You know that peace of mind and profitability are my desire for you as an inventory-based business owner. And that's why I am so excited to announce that I am hosting my first annual profitability virtual workshop. This is going to be a full day of speakers that will be coming in to deliver you information as it pertains to profitability in your business. Whether it be how to post better on social to drive profitability to your bottom line, understanding your customer, who she is and how she thinks, building a mindset of hard work versus hustle, creating a profit first system that you can actually stick with, and everything in between. I've pulled together the best in the industry to come and speak to you at this one-day virtual event, and I really want you to get your ticket and join us. Now, every single session will be held virtually, so it'll be really easy to listen to all of the sessions from the comfort of your home or the back room of your office. And if you can't make a session or you just want to listen to it over and over again, all of the recordings are also included in your ticket price. So I'd love to invite you to come on over and join us. You can find the link to get your ticket, which is only $97. That's right, only $97 for a full day worth of learning from amazing experts from around the world. You can get your ticket for $97 by clicking on the link that you'll find in the show notes. Grab your ticket, set aside a day of full learning. There's no better time to really dive into how to create more peace of mind and profitability in your inventory-based business. I'll see you then. Hey friend, welcome to the Inventory Genius podcast, where we work together here to make you an inventory genius. We talk about profit, we talk about cash flow, and we definitely talk about your paycheck. Because at the end of the day, it's all related to your inventory. Let's go. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Inventory Genius podcast. I'm your host, Ciara, and I have a guest with me today that you all are going to love hearing from. I'm really excited that she's going to be joining us today. Monica is here with us from Business with Monica, and we're going to be talking about something that I think all of us want to learn more about, and that is how to slow down to speed up, how to actually grow well. And Monica has some words of wisdom she's going to be sharing with us today. So welcome to the show.
Hi, Ciara. Welcome. Thanks for having me on.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, so we have to start with your story because everybody needs to know who you are and where you're from and all the things.
Yeah.
So dive in, tell us your background, tell us a little bit about your journey and what got you here to this call today.
Yeah, so it's a long 18-year journey, but I'm going to try and keep it short. So I'm Monica, and I'm here in the Netherlands, Amsterdam. I'm also a mom of two girls. I love telling Dutch by birth, Indian by heritage, global but through choice and education, absolute chai fanatic. And I have over 18 years experience building brands. We're literally from my master's in business to entering the corporate world for over 10 years, where I worked across brand management, strategy consulting, global marketing with the Fortune 500 businesses, to actually quitting when I had my second child and starting my own online store and continuing to freelance.
Okay.
When I started an online store, I kind of realized really quickly that it was an old dream I was chasing. It was something I had in my mind since my teens, and I wanted to leave the corporate world, and I kind of just went ahead and did it. But when I was freelancing and helping other businesses, I realized my passion is really building brands from what I was always doing. It's just that I wanted to work with smaller businesses where I could see the impact of what I was doing, and I could feel like it was having direct impact on our business and life.
Yeah.
And helping other people in the peer group I was in, I realized everybody was kind of always working on the traffic generation, the content, the ads, which we all need to do. So this is important. But a lot of times things were not working out, no matter how much time or money they were spending. And that's because some of the fundamentals were missing, and which is what we're talking about today.
Yes.
And that's why I decided to hone into that, because that's really what I've been doing my entire career. And since then, I've worked with scale-ups. I was also hired by Google to help some of them premier partners. And I work with small business owners who I just help to build that business, which is a passion of theirs.
Yeah, I love that. There's a key word in there, and that is the word fundamentals.
Yes.
Because we all sit down at the kitchen table or at coffee with friends and we have a great idea. We're so excited and there's so much passion. And then we get going and we usually don't have any of the fundamentals figured out. We have all the beautiful, fun, exciting things figured out, like what we're going to paint the inside of our store and our logo, what it's going to look like. And then, the customers don't come or the customers fade away. and then we start all of this frantic activity instead of really looking at like what's the root of the issue here. And I think that's what you talk about in your roadmap. So can we dive into that, the 3 pillars that we really need to be focusing on to grow well in our business?
Yes. And just to add on to what you said, because it's like a house. You first build the foundation, which is the stuff you can't see. Then you build the walls, do the interiors, and invite people in. That's kind of your store too. But often we're building those walls up without the foundations under it. So that's when recessions hit and other things happen. We start being like, oh, how do we keep it standing? So that's what the whole thought behind my roadmap as well. So there are 3 pillars. I call them, in short, position, plan, and play.
Okay.
So starting with position, that's really all about brand. It's about positioning your brand in the minds of your customers so that you're top of mind. You're the one they think of, or at least one of the top 3 they think of, and that it compared to other competitors, and you hopefully make the others irrelevant. Who is my customer and why should I buy from you?
Yeah.
That's really what you want to answer. But you start off with really defining also your own purpose, your why, because I feel that that's what keeps you going when things get tough in business. Remembering why you're doing what you're doing. Then knowing the why of your customer, their core motivations, their needs, wants, and desires. What's really happening in their life and how does your product fit into that?
Yeah.
What does my brand really stand for? What value do I bring and add to your life? You're so much more than a product. Your lifestyle and experience. People buy you because of how you make them feel with your product. So what is those key benefits that you're offering them? What makes you different and unique? And then how do you translate that to your product portfolio?
Okay.
So this is the whole position yourself for kind of growth pillar.
Yeah. So that's really interesting. A question I wrote down here as you were saying that, if we learn to position ourselves well and we really understand the why of our position, does that help with our competition fear, right? Because a lot of times, like, my clients are very fearful of they're all doing this and they're pricing things this way, and what am I missing out on? Does some of that fear naturally go away when we understand our position?
Yeah, it's pretty much like therapy, but then through brand and business, because that's what I see. A lot of people come in really unsure. They're fearful of taking a lot of action. And once they do this, it's as if they kind of see the road ahead of them, just exactly like you said, because then they start focusing on what they're doing and why they're doing and what makes them so unique, that they start forgetting, or at least it's not as important anymore what everybody else is doing. And that's when I see things shift. It's like a mindset shift that happens to like, oh, this is it. This is why I'm doing it. This is for who I'm doing it. So absolutely, that's when that fear starts going away. It never goes away 100%, but it gets easier to overcome it.
Yeah. And don't you think when we can more easily overcome that fear and are not distracted by it, we can do the work at hand, which produces the results we're looking for?
Absolutely, 100%. And I think some of my clients have even named it, like, it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, is literally a quote out from one of my clients, where because then you're like, oh, that's it. And then you start focusing on all the actions you were taking, the ads maybe you're running, the traffic you're getting, the content, the emails, but then you do it from that lens of everything you know about your own why and your business and what it really stands for.
Yeah. So there's 3 words that you shared with me before we jumped on our recording here: clarity, confidence, courage. Talk to me about those things.
So for me, this is what is kind of the North Star of your business. This is what gives you the direction. Once you have this, you translate this to your messaging, copy, content, ads, channels, even more products that you want to decide to add or not add. The biggest thing I've seen is this whole belief in yourself that comes, so going naturally into the fear that you were talking about. A lot of people stop believing in why it's so important what I'm doing, what would they really buy from me. It's having the belief in what you're doing and being able to overcome that, which gives you the clarity, why I'm doing what I'm doing, who I'm serving, where I'm going to, the confidence to be able to take consistent action to reach these people and guide your customers through the journey, and the courage to keep going when things get tough, because they do. Yeah. They do get tough in business. And, and that's what happens, because once you have this, then if you can show up more authentically, truly for yourself as you are as a person, but also for in terms of your business, that's when I say you kind of unlock that whole communication with your customer, because you show up authentically, you can truly connect with them, and that's when you build that true community around your brand. And I would say the keys of your business are right in front of you. You kind of just need to know where to look and what to do with those findings.
Yeah. So how would you practically translate what we're talking about here into a product-based business? Because I feel like this is easier to do with a service-based business, understand my why, understand the problem I'm solving. But I love to look at other industries and pull what they're doing well into a product-based
Yeah.
industry. And so how do we think this way when we're selling stuff? How do we
So
do that?
exactly, but this is the work I do with product-based businesses. Exactly what I've talked through. So
Okay.
everything, I only work with product, e-commerce, retail business owners. So this is exactly what I do with them. First of all, it's realizing that you're selling so much more than a product. I think we touched on that a bit. It is a lifestyle. It's an experience. People buy because of how that product makes me feel. I don't need that fourth pair of leggings, but I'm still
Right.
bought it anyways, right? And if you're going to ask me why, I'll come up with tens of excuses, right? Why I bought it. Because what we do is we buy on feelings, but we tend to rationalize our purchases. We
Okay.
tend to explain them away. And then I will say, well, look, the quality is great. Well, I sport so much, or I wear them during the day so many times, or they can go from day to night. But really, I probably just loved something about it, the story, the colors, there's something that just made me want to really have it. And that's what we want to touch into. And the way to do that is actually really getting to know your customers, truly getting
Okay.
to know them. And I love saying you're not solving problems, you're fulfilling desires. Because as
Yeah.
product owners, most people say, but we don't have anything technical to solve. So I'm saying, no, it's a need, want, or desire that you're actually fulfilling.
Yeah.
And if you take that perspective, get to know your customers, speak to them. I'm a big advocate for customer interviews, one-on-one customer conversations, and
Okay.
really dive into who they are, what's going on, who are they, so demographics, what's really going on in their life, their core desires, what are they doing, how do they behave in your category, and what really makes them happy, how do you delight them. So the 4Ds
Yeah.
is what I call that.
Yeah.
So get to know them, and then from that you can translate how the product fits into your life. A key example, just think about, I think I just take this example because it's what most people can visualize. Starbucks, right?
Yeah.
They're not just selling coffee. When
No.
they started, it was really about this whole research that they had done, where you see that people go to work, people or go to home, but there was no place in between. So they created what they call a third place in people's life. I mean, the coffee,
Oh, yeah.
it's where you went to hang out, where you went and freelancers would sit, you would meet up with friends or colleagues and things. And the coffee was kind of the product they were using to get you there. And there are people who complain it's not the best coffee in the world, but you still go there. You still
Yeah.
spend
We
two
all
more,
do.
two more dollars, and nobody's comparing prices here, right?
Yes.
So because it was this whole experience they created around it, that's how they positioned it.
Yeah, so interesting. So good. Okay, share a success story with us. A client that you worked with that was really struggling with clarity in what problem they're solving with their product and how you were able to move them in the journey from that confusion and the frustration with lack of sales to a really clear vision that was producing the outcome they were looking for.
I can think of a couple of them.
Share. We love stories
So,
because
okay.
I think all of our listeners like want to know, okay, this is great. I don't know how to do it. Like, tell me
Yes.
how it works.
So
Yeah.
let me give two examples. So one was somebody who was at the more early stages in terms of sales, and one was more in six figures. So you can see how it works for
Okay.
both stages. So recently I finished working with a client. It was last year I finished working, and she sells magnetic beaded jewelry.
Okay.
And they tend to relieve pain as well. But they also just look great. And she'd been in business for a little while. It was kind of a hobby. She's in 50 plus. She's second career, you could say. She retired
Yeah.
from one, and she went into this business. And it also stemmed from her and her husband's own experiences with pain in their bodies, and how they then explored different avenues and didn't want to use medication, and they ended up with magnetic jewelry. And her why is really beautiful because she was procrastinating. Her husband bought a whole box of beads and said, just get started, and put it in front of
Okay.
the door, and she had to get started.
Yeah.
So she was a hobby. She was barely making a few thousand a year, even though she was doing all the right actions. She was emailing, she was building traffic, she was putting out content. And then we worked on this, and she really dived deep into her audience and who they are, and was really understanding that she was actually, it was really nice because her niche was going into a bit more of the seniors, which is lovely to see, because it's a nice niche that is underserved.
Yeah.
It can also mean that you can gear your content towards that. So she really got to know through deep dive customer interviews who her customers truly, truly are, and why would they use this beaded jewelry? What is going on in their life as well? So she can apply that to more of the Facebook targeting and other things that she's doing. So since then, since we worked with her, so she defined what a brand stands for, which is, it looks great, but it was about living a life that was pain-free, which is what we call more the functional benefits, but it was allowing them to really live their life on their own terms, which is the emotional benefit, the whole feelings. That was really what they wanted to achieve. Since then, I remember we made projections for her revenue, and I knew what she could do. So I said, let's go for this level. And it scared her, freaked her out. So I said, okay, let's make a pessimistic, realistic, and optimistic. And she just got back to me that her revenue sales got in between the realistic and optimistic, which she kind of didn't expect. And she even had to slow down a little bit because of health reasons, despite that. And she sent me emails and forwarded them, where she received emails from people in her community who said, you truly understand us.
Yeah.
And so it's that that builds loyalty. It's that customer relationship that she's building with them. So suddenly, I mean, this is more than 10 times her sales than what she used to make within a year. But because of this, she said, I was able to do the right targeting, my Facebook ads. I was able to send the right kind of content in my emails. I was able to put out, just in general, the right messaging. So the work that she was already applying with another group, she was able to optimize now, because of the work we did together.
So good. Yeah. So you took her from confusion to clarity, and then that came through in everything else she was doing, which produced the results.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yes. And so there's another one. This was a multi-six-figure business. She sells baby carriers, and she curates her product. So she doesn't make them herself. And she had built this business on new traffic only. She was having barely 10% of repeat purchases. Now, you can imagine how exhausting that is when you're as a multi-six-figure business. That is exhausting. And it costs a lot of money that you're putting out there to constantly get new people, but you're not able to figure out why aren't you getting those repeat purchases? She took all the actions she was supposed to retarget people, send those emails out, get them back to her website, but those repeat purchases were not coming. So we dove into both her why, her customers, her brand. But I think for her, the customer bit was really what played key as well. Because what we found out once she dove into it, all the people she was speaking to, it realized that those were moms who were, say, further in life. So they were on their second child or third child or fourth child. It was their last time being a mom. Okay. So they didn't want to buy again. They didn't need it. Sure. So they were coming in at a stage that they didn't need it anymore. So we're like, okay, so this means either we can change your branding to target these moms at this life stage and the messaging, but also look at different products they may need adjacent so that they come back. Or we need to figure out what is happening with those first-time moms. And she's like, but I still want to figure that out. Okay, let's go back. And then she did a shout-out in her Facebook group and her email list. She has an email list of over 10,000 people. So, and she got interviews with people who were first-time moms. They all responded to her call-out. And it seems that they're all there. They're all hanging out on her email list. They're in her community, but they were not buying. Okay. Why? Because first-time moms couldn't, for the life of them, figure out what carrier they need. It is so confusing. Yes. People who are already experienced, they bought it somewhere else. They know what they want. They know what they like. They know what they don't like. Yes. Exactly. So that was, and they said, we just can't choose. And they wanted help in choosing. So you have to change your whole proposition from selling to helping. Being able to, how will you, create a quiz about the different carriers for different stages of moms, different blogs, first time mom, second time, mom with pain, say back issues, mom that's pregnant, to help say, okay, these are the best choices. And we created a few simple changes. One was adding a rating to her products. I said, just add a rating, because she was getting high returns on complex products because those were not right for first time moms. Which immediately brought down the return rate, she said, which is already cost saving. Yes. And she started changing her emails to more storytelling based on the brand and messaging we decided on, to more
Yep.
storytelling, more using her own experience with carriers and the stories with her babies and her kids, bringing that out and which carriers would make would help. So immediately from barely having any kind of open rates, she more than doubled her open rates and clicked through rates in just within 30 days of implementing that new messaging in her emails.
Oh,
And then
so
she
good.
went back. So it's really going back and understanding those fundamentals of your business. And like I said, again, the keys to your business are right in front of you. It's about looking
Yes.
for those answers and knowing what to do with them.
So good. Oh, my listeners need to just learn all the things from you, Monica. They just need to like dive into everything you have to offer. And I already have some other ideas of how I want to work with you. So I'm going to send you an
Okay.
email when we're done. Because we talk a little bit. I mean, I work specifically with numbers on the number side of things. Building buying budgets
Yeah.
and business budgets and profit first and things like that. But we touch on avatar sometimes because I'll have so many clients that come and say like, I'm okay, I have my budget, I'm doing the things, but I'm constantly hustling. Where are all the people? And so I'll say, you have to do an avatar exercise, and it's not about they're 35 years old, they make 50,000 a year. It's about what keeps them up at night. Where do they hang out? But you specialize in this. And so I'm going to send my client to you because I want them to do just that, like dig into truly understanding the mind of their customer, and whether they're selling a shirt or a beautiful pair of shoes or a beautiful sofa. Why is the person making the purchase? What do we need to know about that customer? So I'm really excited about everything that you
And
can
to
do
add,
about.
and what I always say is, people say, "Let's make my ideal customer avatar." I always say it's real over ideal. Ideal means something from your imagination. Look it up in the dictionary. That's exactly what it means. And most people start drawing out this customer persona on paper without actually speaking or even conversing with their customers in any form. So you're making up something that you feel you should be targeting, who you think your customer is, based on maybe a few things you've seen online, but it's not the ones actually necessarily buying from you. And that's the one you want to find, so you can find more of them and make sure that they come back for more and talk to others about you.
Yes, real versus ideal. Oh my goodness, so many nuggets today. Okay, so a couple questions for you before I let you go. Give me a piece of advice, or share with our audience a piece of advice or a word of wisdom that you've had a mentor or a coach or someone speak into you in your business journey.
There've been quite a few. I think I will focus on the most recent one because, lots have happened in life with everybody, and I've been through quite a bit of some anxieties and stuff myself. And I actually went and took help with a life coach therapist that uses some kind of also a bit of energetic and intuitive coaching, and it hones in very well to the work I do as well. But it was really about realizing that the answers are within me. I think I've always, often a lot of people, and I myself, we tend to look for answers everywhere else.
Yeah.
And often if we just sit with it and think about it, or take a break from work and go for a walk, we will realize and really think about and sit with those feelings you have, you realize that you actually have a lot of the answers. And it was really a big thing for me to realize that and use that power, as you may say, that we all have. And in my business, and it's once I started honing into that and clearing out all the other distractions, it's where I thought, okay, I got so much more clarity in my business and the direction, the steps I wanted to take, and where I wanted to focus in my marketing as well. But it also helped me on a lot of personal things as well. But it was really realizing the answers are within me. And it kind of also matches a lot with the work I do, with the brand work I do. It's making people realize that the answers are right there within you as well.
Yeah. Oh, that's so good, because I think, going back to our customer profile or avatar, if you will, we try to get it from everyone else too. Well, what do you think? And what, when those customers are sitting right in front of us purchasing, and we just need to ask them, like, it's right there.
It's right there. And it's right there in front of you and within you as well. If you actually focus on your why as well, I think a lot of people forget their own story, because there's a why of your life, why you're doing a business in general, but there's this particular why of your own business. Because if you want freedom, I always say to people, then you're in the wrong business. Especially for the first few years, go invest in real estate, get a 9-to-5 job, get your weekends off. But there's a reason you chose to do this exact business. And these sell these products. So if you can focus in on that, that also gives you a lot of your answers.
So good. I hope you all wrote that down. Very good. All right. What's a book that you've read recently that has really made an impact on you?
So I'm a big fan of fiction, not only
Okay.
business books, because I've realized I'm so tired half the time. I don't need to keep learning
Right.
and learning. And
Yes.
fiction really opens my mind as well. But so I read a lot of romance and chick lit as well.
Love it. Love it.
Absolutely not the one I can read in a day, but the most recent one was a little more serious, but I can't recommend it enough. Lessons in Chemistry. I'm sorry, I can't
Okay.
remember the author's name, but it's a new book, and it's about a woman in the 1950s or so
Oh, I love that time period.
who
Yeah.
became who became a chemist. But because of that time period she was in, she
Yep.
was what women were not expected to go to university or not get jobs and all this, and kind of it was a bit heavy in some places, but it was really what she went through to really become and be seen as that chemist that she wants to be. And it talks a lot about the issues that women used to face, I think then, and probably still in some ways now as well,
Yes.
and how she wanted to be the inspiration for her daughter. And also I love I was about to give away the ending. I'm not gonna talk further. But it also just looks about not everybody has a family in the traditional sense, and it also
Yes.
touches on that aspect of it. It was a very inspirational book, even though it was a little heavy. It was
Yes.
also funny. It was also it was just highly inspiring.
I
I
love
can't recommend
it.
it enough. Yeah.
Well, I'm going to read it because like you, it was probably a couple of years ago. I thought, you know what? I don't have to read self-help and business books all the time. Like I can also enjoy reading. And something else I found, totally off topic, but with reading, if I start a book and it's not jiving with me, I have given myself permission to move on. There's hundreds and thousands
Yeah.
of books. I don't have to read to the end just because I start something.
No.
If it's not working for me, that's okay. I can close the book and move on. So
Oh, that's so
all
good
the
to
things
know.
we learn.
So good to know, because there's so many business books I've just never finished, and people are raving about them. Like, okay, I couldn't get to the end.
Yeah. And it's like, you know what? It's okay. Life is short. Let's do what
Yeah,
works for us. So it's
exactly.
all good. Okay. Where can we find you and hang out with you?
So you can find me on my website, of course, Business with Monica. I am super, super active on Instagram. So come and hang out there. And there I get into a lot more, also more emotional and personal stories as well that inspire people. And I am on LinkedIn, where I tend to also, especially with a lot of peers in the industry, I tend to network over there with the peers.
Okay.
And then obviously, I think we have some handy download for you. So
Yes.
you can immediately take some action and join my email list.
That's so good. Yes. So Monica has a gift for everyone. So I'm going to drop it in the show notes so you can download exactly what she talked about today. So you can start with those pillars and really start to make your way through the journey of discovering who your customer truly is and how you're serving them. So please, even if you're driving right now, please, when you stop, go back to the show notes, download that, get that information from Monica, connect with her over on Instagram, and then stay tuned because my mind is working here. I have some ideas of how to bring her into more of our conversations. But thanks for hanging out with me from across the globe. How cool is that? Like you're
Yeah.
across the world and we got to have a conversation.
I know. I love that. I absolutely love that's the power and beauty of online business.
Yes, that we get to, and we get different perspectives, international perspectives too,
Yeah.
which I love. So, all right, Monica, thank you so much for hanging out.
Thank you for having me on. Loved having this conversation.
So good. All right, everybody, if you have not had a chance yet to head on over to my website, please do so, ciarastocklin.com, where I have a lot of awesome tools and resources for you. I'd love to help you get clarity on your inventory, profitability, and peace of mind. Thanks for hanging out with me, you guys. All right, until next time, see you later. Hey friend, thank you so much for tuning in today to the Inventory Genius podcast. If there's something that you heard today on the podcast episode and you want to dig deeper into becoming an inventory genius yourself, I want to invite you to head on over to my website, ciarastocklin.com, where I have multiple ways that you and I can work together on your inventory. I want to help you with your profit, your cash flow, and your paycheck, because at the end of the day, it's all related to your inventory. So head on over to the website, connect with me. I'll work with you soon. See you then. Hey there, friend. So I'm an expert when it comes to inventory management, profitability, and how inventory relates to profitability in your business. I can help you with a buying budget or an open to buy. I can help you with a business budget or even a profit first plan. But I need to rely on my amazing colleagues when it comes to other areas that will help drive profitability in your business. And that's why I've brought together a huge collaboration of amazing experts to host a one-day profitability workshop for you as my clients. I'm so excited about the profitability workshop that I'm going to be hosting on March 6th. This is the first annual virtual workshop, and I want to invite you to attend. I'm bringing together experts that really know what they're talking about in all the areas of your business, like social media, understanding your avatar, knowing how to create a mindset of hard work versus hustle, and everything in between. This one-day workshop is going to give you the tools that you need to launch yourself into 2023. Of course, I'll be teaching some profit first workshops and things like open to buy and buying budgets, because at the end of the day, we have to keep focusing on the inventory. But I want you to be able to take what I teach you and go further with it as you become an expert in every area of your business management. So if this is of interest to you, then I want you to go over to the show notes and click on the link to get your ticket to this virtual workshop. It's only $97, which is phenomenal. And that ticket includes recordings of all the sessions. So if you can't make some of them live, or if you want to listen and re-listen again, they will be available to you in your library. This is such a great price. So for $97, you can listen to this entire day of experts speaking into your business for you. And you can do it from the comfort of your office, your home, or your couch. So head on over to the show notes, click on the link, get your virtual ticket to this amazing workshop. I cannot wait to see you soon.